That is the Deadbolt 5. That is a weapon that's been broken for a little bit, that they actually fixed in the most recent patch notes, and that's why I'm in Arena Commander right now. I'm actually testing it out. Again, all I can do is shrug. But sort of like with the Light Strike 5 on the Vanguard, it will line up better with the Vanguard cannons in terms of its fire rate, which allows you to maximize the overall DPS a little bit better. Alright, let's head down to New Babbage. 5. And just grab a bunch of them. Who cares? It's a bit on the small side for a size 5, but that kind of helps the overhang issue on the front of the Vanguard. Of course, obviously, ships that are flown by actual players have different stats, but the other thing that they fixed in this patch is the SDF shields are no longer trailing behind ships, and just annihilates it. So yeah, what I saw in the patch notes that got me pretty excited is that they fixed the Deadbolt 5. But the question's going to be, is it actually any good? Because I'll tell you right now, the Combine hits already like it was a size 5, and it's a size 4. And you can put that on a gimbal, or you can put that on a turret that's smaller. So let's find out.
Swarm initiated.
So let's just disable a couple of weapons here. First of all, just to kind of test this cannon out. Oh, I'll turn them off.
Warning.
Alright, so the only thing we got now is the Deadbolt 5 on the second stage of the trigger. About 7 shots before overheating. One advantage that the Deadbolt will have over the Combine, though, is the total ammo count. Combine has a lot more total rounds. The Deadbolt will also have higher DPS as well, even though the Combine and the Deadbolt both have about the same amount of damage per hit.
Zero hostile contacts remaining.
You can see that the Deadbolt has 1,800 rounds. So as far as ballistic weapons go on size 5, that allows you to fire a ballistic weapon for the greatest amount of time without reloading. And that's by quite a long shot too. The biggest problem with these cannons, though, is that they have pretty low velocity. But sort of like with the Light Strike 5 on the Vanguard, it will line up better with the Vanguard cannons in terms of its fire rate, which allows you to maximize the overall DPS a little bit better. Because otherwise, if you stick like a M7A on the nose of the Vanguard, for example, then its fire rate is so low by comparison to the other nose guns on the Vanguard that you're wasting time by waiting for the smaller cannons to catch up to the, or the other way around. You're wasting damage by waiting for the larger cannon to catch up to the fire rate of the smaller cannon so it can shoot again, basically. Let's see what happens when we overclock this thing. Cannons don't really benefit as much as repeaters, I find, just due to the nature of the way that repeaters work, but can't hurt. Let's see how many shots we can get off on it. So that looked about 6 shots in order to kill a Buccaneer. Yeah, that was 6 shots as well there. Another thing to keep in mind with the Deadbolt is the range on it is going to be lower than other size 5 cannons.
Warning. There are multiple hostiles inbound.
It looks really nice attached to the Vanguard, though. It's a little bit more sleek than other size 5 cannons. Alright, this is a Gladius. Let's see how many shots it takes on this. Looks like 5 shots on the Gladius. There's another Gladius. Let's see if we can confirm. This is a target that would really benefit from a Deadbolt. A Freelancer. More what the Deadbolt should be used against rather than fighters, in my opinion. Just because of its lower velocity, it will have an easier time hitting a larger, less maneuverable target. Okay, now, we're halfway through. Let's activate our other guns. Let's see what kind of damage the Deadbolt does in tandem with other weapons enabled. So I have a mix of cannons and repeaters right now. course, obviously, ships that are flown by actual players have different stats, but the other thing that they fixed in this patch is the SDF shields are no longer trailing behind ships, and that's going to change, you know, how many hits some of these things have taken. So I think what we'll do after this round with the Deadbolt is we'll go in and we'll put the Combine cannon on, and we'll see if there's any real difference. Oh, look at that. That Vanguard has no engines anymore. I shot them both off. Oh, there's a Constellation Andromeda. That would be, again, another ideal target for what you'd want to use the Deadbolts on. There's another Constellation over there. Let's go after that one. Notice how the Constellation actually has the Merlin attached to it now when it spawns? Showing up as friendly, though, interestingly enough. The other good thing about the Deadbolt is it sort of aligns all of your weapons with the same amount of range too. Like the Deadbolt's range is pretty similar to the other nose guns on the Vanguard. I guess that could be a plus or a minus. I'm not sure the weapons are balanced around a total economy of stats or anything like that, but if they were, then that would be some kind of an advantage. But yeah, as it stands, we're only going to be able to hit things about, 2.5 kilometers away at most. Alright, that brings us to the last wave with the hammerhead. So this is another situation where I kind of feel like the Deadbolt would be semi-good against, although because the range on the Deadbolt is so low, it's going to struggle against even like the default Rhino repeaters that are on a hammerhead, because they will actually outrange the size 5 ballistic. So let's mark that hammerhead so we know where it is, and let's just take out a few Merlins here first, at least until the wave 1 of reinforcements arrives. Alright, let's just go for the hammerhead. So again, with ballistic weapons, we're getting a little bit of shield penetration. I'm not actually seeing any shield penetration on the wireframe for the hammerhead, so it's hard to tell if that's actually being effective or not. It looks like it's not penetrating the shield, so that's definitely a problem as far as effectiveness of a ballistic gun. Raptor's here. Where's Raptor? Say hi, Raptor. Stop lurking. Yeah, definitely expending ammo, but not getting any shield penetration on the Deadbolt. I think that might be responsible for part of the disappointing performance that I've kind of felt with it so far compared to the Combine. Now, like I said, they did change the shields just recently in this patch. Like, yeah, the SDF shields were in before, but in this most recent patch, they actually changed how they actually work because there were bugs. SDF shields are fixed, yes. At least until we get more data and somebody else finds something else that's broken with them, but you know. Thoom sound? You mean this sound? That sound? That is the Deadbolt 5. That is a weapon that's been broken for a little bit, that they actually fixed in the most recent patch notes, and that's why I'm in Arena Commander right now. I'm actually testing it out. It's not new, but nobody used it because it could only fire 2 shots before overheating before, and then it would stay overheated for like a minute. So it was never a good option. But just as this most recent PTU patch, it's finally started working. But it looks like it's even though it's a ballistic cannon, it doesn't penetrate these hammerhead shields at all. Yeah, it's not doing any kind of shield penetration at all. So let's... I have a feeling that that might be still some kind of unresolved issue with that weapon, because when I was testing the Combine before, it does do shield penetration. So let's just change that out, and let's just see if we can narrow it down here. Alright, let's give this a shot. Let's just go back to the way we tested it at first before. Let's just disable a couple of the other guns on the first couple of waves.
Warning. There are multiple hostiles inbound.
Yeah, it definitely looks like there's shield penetration there.
First blood.
The other advantage the Combine's going to have is it has the explosive projectile, so it's not just hitting one spot. It can hit multiple spots, multiple facings, and components even. You can see the explosion rolling off the other ship when it hits. We've only got 480 shots in the Combine compared to 1,800 in the Deadbolt 5 as well.
Hostiles inbound.
Of course, the other advantage of the Combine is it can be gimbaled. At least on the Vanguard. Yeah, so that only took like 2 shots, so that's kind of telling me there's some bleed through of the damage going through the shields here compared to the Deadbolt. They both should have shield penetration, but it feels like the Deadbolt doesn't have any right now. Yeah, the Combine feels a lot more effective. Yeah, definitely feels like the Combine's doing a lot more, probably because of the explosive projectile, and also possibly because it looks like it's penetrating shields as it should as a ballistic weapon. Whereas the Deadbolt is definitely not.
Hostile contacts remaining.
Yeah, it's definitely hitting a lot harder than the stats alone compared to the two weapons would suggest.
Warning. There are multiple hostiles inbound.
Like, what did we say it took to take out a Buccaneer last time? I think it was eight shots, 6 or 8, something like that. Just annihilates it. All I can do is shrug there. That's all I can do. Yeah, without a doubt, the Combine is definitely hitting a lot harder. Like, even taking into account the fact that the Deadbolt fires faster, the Combine is definitely doing a lot more work. The other thing that you have to kind of take into consideration too with cannons is that you're not really going to be holding down the trigger on cannons as much as you would with, say, like repeaters. With cannons, you're more or less trying to time, every shot so that it lands on target. So a higher fire rate is a good thing, but based on how the Combine and the Deadbolt are set up at this point, the Combine is just almost no contest at all between the two guns. Again, all I can do is shrug. Alright, after this wave, we'll turn on the other weapons as well, so we can get a comparison with the Combine and the other weapons versus the Deadbolt with the other weapons. Yeah, you can see on the wireframe there, it's definitely penetrating the shields. You can see the parts of the ship flash, not just the shields. We can back that up by actually scanning it. Alright, so halfway through again this time, let's reactivate all the weapons. So again, just like before, we have a mixture of cannons and repeaters. The reason for the cannons and the repeaters is they have approximately the same velocity as the cannons that we're testing on the nose of the Vanguard, which means that even when the gimbal is enabled, the aim point that we're going for is basically the same. That helps so that you don't get into situations where the gimbal is preventing your nose guns from hitting and vice versa. Because there are some weapon combinations on the Vanguard that will give you problems like that, just due to their inherent velocity differences. Alright, so this is a Constellation Andromeda. Again, this is something that I would say a large ballistic cannon would be designed to tackle. Hey, Spliff Bluntman, thank you. So once we get to the hammerhead at the end of this, we'll be able to fire the combine at it, and we'll be able to see if there's any shield penetration of the hammerhead with the combine. And if there is, then we'll know that there's something up with the Deadbolt 5 still. But from what we've seen so far, the combine is definitely outperforming the Deadbolt, even though it's a smaller size weapon.
Contact. Elite units en route. Eliminated.
Alright, now for the hammerhead. So we'll do the same thing as last time. We'll take out a couple of the Merlins first, just until the first reinforcement wave comes in. And then we'll start targeting the hammerhead and see if there's any shield penetration on the combine. There's that hammerhead. Let's mark it so we don't lose track of it. Alright, let's start hitting that hammerhead and see if any of these ballistic rounds penetrate. Yeah, I can already tell. If you look at the wireframe on the hammerhead, you can see it's flashing. In fact, damage. Yeah, there's no question the combine is still the better weapon at the moment. The shields? Yeah, shields are definitely working. When I was using the Deadbolt 5 just before this, in the previous round to test, it was not penetrating the shields at all. And it should have had some shield penetration, like the Combine does, but it looks like that aspect of the Deadbolt might still be broken.
Reinforcements coming in.
Elite units eliminated.
So a very clear difference between the two weapons. The Combine is physical damage and it explodes. So I suppose the other possibility is the explosive damage could be leaking through the new shield system and hitting the hull. Because there was an issue previously where you could be killed in the pilot seat by explosive damage. That was way back in maybe 2 point something. I don't even remember now. Another way of testing, another way to kind of test to confirm would be to use another ballistic weapon that doesn't have any kind of explosion and see if that penetrates shields at all. So we could do that kind of test real quick just to kind of verify. I'm not sure. I do know that as of the last couple of patches anyway, any kind of like explosive damage like rocket pods and the Combine, they've all been working, so. But the Deadbolt doesn't have any explosive damage, so let's just put the Revenant on. That doesn't have any explosive damage for sure. That's just a Gatling. And let's just disable our other weapons. And sure, we'll just turn on the auto gimbal. I just want to see if this will penetrate shields or not.
Warning. There are multiple hostiles inbound.
Yeah, looks like that penetrates shields, no problem. Let's try on the bad guys. Yep, that definitely penetrates shields. And you can see by the health there that it actually has taken damage, so. Yep, definitely taking damage from that. Alright, so one more test. Just so we know that we're not crazy. Let's re-equip the Deadbolt and see if the Deadbolt will do any kind of shield penetration. Because now I'm pretty confident that it's not the explosive damage that is causing the Combine to do the shield penetration at this point. So let's re-equip the Deadbolt 5. And let's try it again.
Swarm initiated.
Alright, so same thing. Let's go in, disable our weapons. Oops, no, I changed weapon groups. Meant to disable them. Alright, weapons disabled.
Warning.
Let's find something to shoot.
Hostiles inbound.
So once again, the Deadbolt is pretty short range, so let's get under 2 kilometers. Alright, so I hit him twice. Did we get any shield? Yeah, we did get shield penetration that time.
First blood.
I wonder if that first round was just bugged. Let's just play around again a little bit more with the Deadbolt to see what we can find out.
Zero hostile contacts remaining. Warning. There are multiple hostiles inbound.
I do really like the way that it looks on the Vanguard, though. Like, that looks pretty good. It's a, you know, it's a bit on the small side for size 5, but that kind of helps the overhang issue on the front of the Vanguard. The Combine definitely kills in a lot fewer hits, though, and I feel like that's a part of the explosive damage. Okay, what about shield penetration on the Gladius? Now, hard to tell there because I saw the shots from the other ship. Yeah, it's a bit odd considering the Deadbolt is a size up. Because damage per hit wise, they almost are the same. Definitely saw some hit the wireframe of the ship there. Yeah.
Zero hostile contacts remaining.
Yeah, the Combine just feels a little bit more,
Multiple hostiles inbound.
little bit more damaging. Even taking into account the difference of the fire rate, I find at least. I think a big part of that, yeah, it does make the hits a lot more satisfying. The explosive damage definitely feels, you can definitely tell the explosive damage is doing something there. Definitely hitting multiple parts of the ship, definitely damaging a lot of stuff. Sort of the same thing like distortion weapons do with shields. They hit more than one shield face, so... they're a bit more devastating than their stats would show just by the stats alone.
There are multiple hostiles inbound.
Not sure why the Combine would penetrate the hammerhead shields and the Deadbolt wouldn't, though. That's a bit weird. It's definitely penetrating these smaller ship shields. Yeah, like for whatever reason that Combine was killing those Buccaneers in like one shot, and then the Deadbolt takes that many shots to kill them. So it must be, that explosive damage must be really breaking some of those sensitive components. Or whatever it's causing it to cause a death condition of the smaller ships. What I'll probably do when I re-render this is I'll probably put the stats for the Combine and the Deadbolt 5 down in the bottom left of the video. Just as a good reference point. Alright, last wave before the hammerhead. Then we'll be able to test the deadbolt on the hammerhead again, see if we get any shield penetration this time.
Elite units eliminated.
Alright, hammerhead wave coming up.
Contact. Elite units en route.
So we'll do the same thing as last time. We'll take out a few of the Merlins and then wait for the Wave 1 reinforcements to spawn. Let's mark that hammerhead again so we don't lose track of it. Alright, let's see if we get any shield penetration on that hammerhead. Not seeing any hits on the wireframe. So yeah, for whatever reason, it doesn't seem like the Deadbolt 5 can penetrate the shields of that hammerhead, although the Combine can. Although the Deadbolt 5 is also penetrating the shields of other ships. So I don't know what it is about that hammerhead in particular that's stopping the Deadbolt from penetrating the shields. So those missiles, they definitely... I saw some flashes on the wireframe from the missiles impacting. Yeah, no idea why it's not penetrating the hammerhead shield there. Let's just go to Microtech and confirm that we can still purchase them there. I'm not sure that it's a really great option right now, though, given what we've seen with the Combine. I think if you want to go with a ballistic cannon, you still might be better off with that. To save a bit of time when we go down, we'll land at the Commons rather than land at the spaceport. Just be a little bit easier. Alright, let's head down to New Babbage. And we'll head straight for the Commons. More or less straight for the Commons. Looks like somebody's already down there. It's a Valkyrie. Looks like they're landed right at the garage, but I think I'm going to land at the pad. Just to be courteous and proper, I guess. Oh, looks like the survival estimate timer is still broken. There's that Valkyrie we spotted on radar coming in. And there's the garage. And we'll just take the elevator right to the commons, and then we'll go to the we'll go to center mass, and we'll buy one of those deadbolt cannons. Actually, since it's a PTU, let's buy a whole bunch of those deadbolt cannons. Yeah, it's running fairly well. Getting between 30 and 40 FPS right now. Looks like there's some misplaced weapons here. That's okay. All we really need is in the console here. So, weaponry, gun, let's find the Deadbolt 5. There it is, Deadbolt 5. And just grab a bunch of them. Who cares? Don't know what we're going to do with 5, but we have them if we want them. Alright, so from there we can go ahead and equip them on the ships, and then we can use the same weapon in the verse. Although, like I said, sort of basing that on the testing that I did, I think I would still prefer a Combine. Even though it's a size smaller. Combine, just, I mean, if you have a size 5 mount, you can put it on a gimbal. That's a plus. I don't know if it's a huge plus, but, you know, it's a plus. Combine does have less ammo. But, you know, damage per hit wise, they are about the same. The Deadbolt does do more damage per second because it has a higher fire rate. Deadbolt has a lot more ammo. But it does just feel like the Combine is, between the two options, it does just kind of feel like the better option at the moment. It might depend a little bit on your loadout and, you know, some other things, but at the moment it feels like the Combine, just that extra bit of damage that it does due to the explosive damage, it just feels like that's just enough to sort of power it through. Just trying to think of any other things that I can between the two weapons right off the top of my head, but yeah, just based on the way things are right now, I think I'd still stick with the Combine. Especially since there seems to be some weird shield, especially with that weird shield penetration thing with the hammerhead. For some reason, the Deadbolt wasn't penetrating the hammerhead shield, but the Combine did, even though they were both penetrating the shields of other ships. So that's another weird oddity. Alright, I think I'm going to stop here because I have tested everything I wanted to test. And I'm probably going to put this one together and then throw it up on YouTube in a more condensed format. So, alright, that's it for now. Have a good one, everybody.